How to set up your own estate plan for free. This is estate planning lawyer Michael Pevney. I create estate plans for California families, but in this video, we're going to talk about how to set up your own free estate plan. So let's get right to it. The very first document we're going to look at is a will. This is a California statutory will. So the state, in the state you live in, I'm in California, puts out a will that you can complete yourself. It kind of explains the rules and how all this stuff works, and then you start writing stuff in, and you can even handwrite stuff in. So this is the will of, and you just print your name. And if you want to leave, first we're talking about a personal residence, your home. If you want to leave it to your spouse, you just sign your name right there. If you want to leave nothing to your spouse and everything to your kids, you just sign your name right there. And if you want to leave it to somebody that's not your spouse or your kids, you write the name or names of the people that you want down here, and you sign your name right there. And then it talks about all of your other stuff, household goods and personal effects. You want to leave it to your spouse, you just sign your name. This is made for you to do yourself, all right? Big disclaimer here. I am a lawyer. I practice in California. I am not your lawyer unless and until we talk, you sign some documents and you pay me money. This is not what my estate planning documents look like. This is stuff that's available for free from the state of California. If you don't live in California, it's very likely that your state also has similar documents that you can fill out on your own. Moving along. These are specific gifts of cash here, so you can make cash gifts, specific amounts of money, the amount, the name of the person or the charity, and then just sign your name. And then kind of the big thing, or one of the big things, is the rest. So the balance of my assets. So where's the balance of all this stuff going to go? Do you want to leave it to your spouse? Sign here. You want to leave nothing to your spouse and leave it to your kids? Sign here. If you want to leave it to other people, sign here and here. A very important part of what a will can also do is name a guardian. So if you pass away and the other parent of the child, whether you're married to them or not, is dead or is unable to care for the child, you can nominate a guardian. Now, only a judge can actually appoint a guardian, but you can say who you want to be the guardian. So guardian of the child's person, that basically means they're like acting as the parent, and then the guardian of a custodian of assets. That means they control any property that belongs to the child, or also sometimes referred to as a guardian of the estate. And so moving on, you decide who the executor is. Oh, and by the way, you can choose to have them be up to age 25 before they actually inherit this property, talking about your kids here. And then the executor. The executor is in control of distributing all of this stuff. And so you can name your first and second choice. Now, a will must be signed, and in California, it must be witnessed by two separate people. Those people should not be people that are going to inherit anything from the will. So you write the place you're in and the date that you sign it right here. And so signature the will maker, and you should do that in the presence of two people. And they sign, they date, they put their address, and you've got a will. Now, there are a lot of reasons that I think that people in California should have a trust instead of a will as that central estate planning document. But this is something that the state makes available for free. Now, if you do have a lot of property, that does mean that your property is going to have to go through the probate process, but which is very expensive, about $50,000 it ends up costing the people you leave behind for the average homeowner in the area where I live. But this can sometimes be better than nothing, and it gives you choices about where you want your things to go. So that is the first document. That's the will. So moving on to the next document. The next document is called an Advance Healthcare Directive, and it combines a couple of different things. Sometimes it's known in other states as a DNR or a healthcare power of attorney, but in California we call it an Advance Healthcare Directive. And so the first thing it does is it nominates somebody to make healthcare decisions for you when you're unable to. So you designate an agent, whether that's a spouse or a child that's an adult or somebody else, and then you can designate alternates. You can designate more than one person and a couple of alternates here, alternate 1 up here, and then alternate 2 below here. And it tells you what power, you can say what power that those alternates have. Now, keep in mind, these are free forms that are given out by the state. These are the California forms. I work in California, and this is an Advance Healthcare Directive here. And so that's sort of part 1. You nominate people that you want to take care of your health. And then part 2 here is kind of end-of-life decisions. So this is sometimes called a DNR or a living will. And it's kind of 2 big decisions here. So choice not to prolong life if you have an irreversible and incurable condition, or choice to prolong life. I want to prolong my life as long as possible. So the very simple way of putting this is, do you want the plug pulled? The answer is yes, not to prolong life. The answer is no, don't pull the plug, don't prolong life, right? That's a big oversimplification, but that's generally what it means. And then you can choose to be an organ donor on here. So you just check the box if you want to be an organ donor, or don't check the box. And then if you have specific religious or other desires, you can kind of write that stuff down here. You can designate your own primary physician if you have one. And then, so you sign the document then. I believe this document can be either signed in front of 2 witnesses or notarized. I don't believe that it needs to be both. So you sign it and date it and print your name right here. If you want to use witnesses, you can use 2 witnesses. They should probably not be the people that are going to be making decisions for you, probably people that know you but aren't necessarily going to be decision makers. There is, if you're in a nursing home or some sort of other facility, there is a patient advocate or ombudsman that should also be here to sign the document, because people in nursing homes are thought of as sometimes especially vulnerable. So we want to protect them, and sometimes we do that by having an ombudsman do that. I do believe this document can be either witnessed by two people or notarized. And so here is the form for the notary. You can always do both if you want to. Okay, so that is the second of 3 free estate planning documents. The first being the will, the second being the Advance Healthcare Directive. And moving on to number 3, we have the power of attorney document. So this is actually a financial document and says who you want to give financial powers to. And this is, again, a free form. I don't create these forms. I am not your lawyer. You can fill this stuff out on your own. This is the state of California statutory form. So you basically write this stuff in here, your name, and the name of the person that you want to be your power of attorney. And it then all of the different types of financial transactions that you want your power of attorney to be able to engage in, you can basically initial here. N as in Nancy is all of the above. And then, unless you, so this actually gives people all of these powers immediately, unless you write in here something to the effect of, I only want this to take effect if I am medically incapacitated. Sometimes elderly people want their kids to be able to do their banking without any sort of a doctor's note or certification that they're medically incapacitated. But this is where you write in, I don't want anybody to take over my finances unless I physically can't do it myself because of some sort of a healthcare reason. And then right here, it's dated and signed in the state and the county that you're in. Again, these are California statutory documents, and then this document should be notarized, and here is that notary block. So here you have the 3 statutorily available documents that you can use to set up an estate plan for free. Now, I rarely recommend that people do these things on their own without the advice of an attorney. It might be better than nothing. These are not how the documents look. Most people, I actually don't recommend, if they have little kids or if they own a home in California, that they use a will at all as their main estate planning document. We always have a very simple will. But just as a public service, these documents are available for free if you live in California, and most other states have them available. So if you're interested in this or anything else related to estate planning, follow me for more estate planning information. And If you want to set up a time to meet with me for free, you can find my contact information on my profile. Thanks for your time, and thanks for your attention.